Hi there Facebook family, Sarah Louise here. Hope you've all had a great day. So depending on where you are in the world right now, it's early evening here. Oh no, actually I think it's about 9:30, so it's not that early. I'm in the UK. So today's topic I want to talk all about, are you one of those people that's thinking, am I really ever going to make it? Because there's a lot of people out there that I truly believe are thinking in that way. And a lot of it is mindset related, a lot of it is fear, a lot of it is who they're surrounding themselves with. And I'm just here to be somebody that genuinely cares about other people without expecting anything in return. And that's why I do these videos, because I want to become the person that I never had when I started this journey. And I truly believe that if there's more people like me that's willing to help other people without expecting anything in return, it will turn this industry around and give it a far better name. And I think a lot more people will succeed and a lot less people will quit and fail. So the success rate online is as little as 3 to 4%, which means the failure rate is as high as 96-97%. So just while I'm waiting for a few people to just get on, I'm just going to take a quick mouthful of my coffee. I'm going to tell you a small story first, and then I'm going to then get into why I've told you this story and how I want you to break it down into your business. I want you to come off this video tonight, today, whatever time it is for you, and take something away from this that you're going to be able to feel inspired and motivated, and take something away that you can now put into your business. So as always, let me know where you're watching from, what country, even let me know what time it is, or if you don't want to put much in a message, just leave me like a little emoji, or maybe love the video, like the video, but please interact. I don't read the comments while I'm talking because I want to keep the video short and sweet, or as short and sweet as I can. But I do go back in afterwards and read them, and obviously as this video is leveraged on my profile, I have far more people watching the rerun than I do the live, so I have notifications coming through for weeks, months, even a year after I've done the video. So just one top tip there, when you're doing videos, don't focus so much on the live viewers, because the rerun viewers is going to be far, far more. So when you're talking on your video, think about you're talking to the live viewers, but also you're talking to the rerun. So you're wanting people to comment on this video for weeks, months, years to come. Don't just think about, well, there's only 5 people watching me, so there's no point in asking anything. Think that there's 5,000 people potentially watching you, and you want to talk to all of them. So my little story that I want to start with, first of all, excuse me, just let me get in the mouth, my throat's really dry. So when I chose that I wanted to learn to drive, actually drive a car, think about when you wanted to learn to drive a car, your why and your excitement, and maybe even the fact you're nervous, but you know that once you have passed your driving test that your life is going to change. So when people decide that they want to learn to drive, they will always find money for driving lessons. They will always find money to buy a car, because their why is so strong when they learn to drive. They know that it's going to change their life completely once they've passed their test. So think about this in business. Think about your business as being your vehicle. Now, when I first learned to drive, I was very, very nervous. I was very, very anxious, and it took several lessons before I started to trust my driving instructor sat next to me, before I started to trust her. And then I got a bond with her, and I thought, if I listen to her, I have trust in her. But ultimately, it was down to me to drive. She could teach me how to do it, but I needed to learn the skills of how to do it. Fast forward, putting in for my first driving test. I was so nervous, I said to her, I'm going to fail, I'm not ready, I can't do this. She went, you can. I went, I can't. Do you know what happened? I failed, because I told myself before I even did the test I was going to fail. Now, I failed my driving test 4 times before I passed on the 5th attempt. On those other times, I could actually drive. But the reasons why I failed my driving test is because My driving instructor that I'd had trust in was no longer sat next to me when I was doing my test. I had somebody that made me feel very uncomfortable and made me feel very intimidated. And all of a sudden my nerves got the better of me. Fear kicked in, and it was fear everything and run. I wanted to just get the test over and done with as quick as possible because I just knew I was just a bag of nerves. By the fourth fail, I thought, I've got to just do something. I've got to do something, otherwise I'm never going to pass my test. My why became so strong at this point that I thought, I've got to do something. So I looked online at things that I could take to calm my nerves. And there were some organic, natural drops that you put on your tongue that you just bought from the chemist. I don't know whether they actually work or whether it's the placebo effect in my mind, but when I put them on my tongue, I thought, oh, I feel really calm and really relaxed. I went into my 5th driving test and I nailed it and I passed. To this day, I don't know if that lotion actually works, but I believed when I took it, it was going to make me calm. And when I took that driving test, I was no longer intimidated by the person next to me. I was focused on passing my test, and all I kept telling myself is, you've just got to pass this test because you can drive. So I want you to think about your business is the same. Think about your business opportunity as being the vehicle, and it's up to you to drive that vehicle to get you from A to B. If I'd have quit because my nerves got the better of me, I would never ever be able to drive a car. It would then have prevented me from having freedom of being able to get from A to B when I choose. It would have held me back in business. It would have held me back socially in my personal life. But think about you when you learnt to drive. Nobody gets behind the wheel of a car and can just take it away. We all need to learn how to drive first. We all need to pass our test. At that point then we can drive. But we have to become a better driver through practice. And then over time, you now get behind the wheel of a car, don't you? You don't even think about it. You could probably even drive with your eyes closed, although it's not safe to do so. Some people take longer to get from A to B. Some people prefer to drive fast. Some people prefer to take the time and drive slow. But the ultimate goal is to still get from A to B, and your vehicle will get you there. So now I want you to think about your business as a vehicle. Is this making sense so far? So I want you to think about, you've bought your vehicle, which means you've bought into a business. At this point, think of your car, your vehicle, is just parked on the drive. You've bought it, it's just parked on the drive. It's not going to get you anywhere, is it? Unless you get going with that vehicle. Business is exactly the same. If you don't turn the engine, that vehicle is never going to move. A business opportunity is exactly the same. Just because you've bought into a business, you will not succeed unless you take action. So now I want you to think about, you've turned the engine on. What do you need to do at this point? You need to fuel the vehicle. You need to fuel your business. Now, how do you do this? It's your drive, it's your determination, it's your persistence, it's your hunger, it's your strategies, it's your execution plan. You're never going to get from A to B in your vehicle if you just turn the engine on and think, well, I'll just start driving and I'll just see where I turn up. No, you need to have a clear plan in place before you even get moving of how you're going to get to B. Think about your business as a vehicle. If you have a bad attitude in your business, it's like having a flat tire. You're not going to get very far. If you do not fuel your vehicle daily, you're never ever going to reach momentum. Now, as you start to move forward, I want you to think about a journey of 100 miles. And I want you to just hear me out till the end, and then you'll start to just think about things differently. If I said to you, right, you've got your vehicle, you've fueled it, now we're going to have a journey of 100 miles. I can guarantee some of you wouldn't even want to take that journey because straight away you'd think, there's no way I can do 100 miles, there's no way, so I'm not even going to bother trying. Some of you may just start, only get so far, and then quit. My point is I want you to take these steps on board and think about it in your business. Imagine if you're sat in the driver's seat, imagine in the passenger seat, I could allow you to have a friend or family member sat next to you. That friend or family member has never ever driven a vehicle before, and that friend or family member has never ever been to destination B. Would you feel comfortable driving that vehicle, having somebody sat next to you that didn't know how to drive that vehicle and they didn't know how to get to destination B? I personally wouldn't want that person sat next to me, because as soon as I started to feel a little bit nervous or overwhelmed and said, I don't think I can do this, they'd go, no, we can't, and you'd go home. Now imagine if I was sat next to you in this vehicle and I could confidently say, I can drive a vehicle no problem and I've been to destination B several times. Would you then feel like you could take that journey? And I can guarantee that you would feel much more reassured having someone like me sat next to you that's going to say, I'm going to be here through this whole entire journey with you, and I'm going to get you from A to B, and I'm right there. That is having a mentor in business that is going to guarantee that they're always on the end of a message or a call. So think about what business opportunity you've joined, what vehicle. Do you have access to somebody that is skilled in helping you get to destination B? And do you have that person that can be next to you, equivalent of? And in business, it's virtually. If somebody's on the end of an email, somebody's on the end of Messenger, a Skype call, phone call, it's the equivalent of you driving a vehicle and having that person next to you. Now, when you take this journey of 100 miles, you're going to feel more confident because you've got somebody sat next to you. But I want to break it down even more. If I could guarantee you to get from A to B, 100% guarantee, you would feel more confident taking this journey. But I want to go one step further of thinking about it in business. People succeed in business when they pick the right system, meaning the right vehicle. They fuel their business like you fuel your vehicle. You have the right mentor to help you succeed. But imagine then if I could give you access to coaches in your business to help you succeed even more. Now think about this 100-mile journey of A to B. Rather than thinking about it as a 100-mile journey, I want you to think about it broken down into 5 manageable steps. If you think of a journey of 100 miles, the chances of you feeling overwhelmed is very, very high. Now, if I said to you, today, our action is going to be a 20-mile journey, and when you've reached 20 miles, there's going to be a coach there that's going to answer all your questions. They're going to ask you about your 20-mile journey so far, ask if there's anything that they can give you advice on, and then they're going to prepare you for your next 20-mile journey. Would you feel more confident knowing that I'm sat next to you and that your journey, your goal, is just 20 miles? You stop thinking about the 100-mile journey, you start thinking about the 20-mile journey. Now, the benefit of this is you have then reached a small goal. Have you got to your destination yet when you've done 20 miles? No, because B is 100 miles. Have you made progression? Yes, you have. Have you reached a goal? Yes, you have. 20 miles, reached a goal, got in contact with a coach in business is how I want you to visualize how you should be running your business. If you think about it where you don't reward yourself until you get to 100 miles, a lot of you will never ever make it to 100 miles. Think about the first part of your journey as being on a really bumpy road with lots and lots of hurdles and lots of things making your drive very difficult. But I'm sat next to you to help you, and you've only got to get on this rough road for 20 miles. Then when you reach your first goal, then your coach is going to say, do you know what? The next part of your journey is going to be easier. You've started to build up some momentum. Your wheels are starting to turn. Think about when you drive on the motorway rather than driving on a bumpy road. You start to build momentum. You start to build speed. You then got the option to take other people with you in your vehicle. which means people that you can help now get to option B. You can also have people in your vehicle that's going to help you get to your destination B. Do you see how this is all starting to fit into place? It's very, very simple for you to think about business in the same way as a vehicle. If you stop fueling it, it will never ever get you to where you want to be. If you don't plan where B is, you're never ever going to make it. And your business is exactly the same. Don't feel as though you have got to do all of this journey by yourself, because you haven't. You can have somebody like a passenger next to you to help you, which is why picking somebody that is a right mentor, that is proven to already have the skills that you need, and they've already proven that they've got to the destination that you want to get to. There's no point in you taking advice from friends and family or somebody else that has never ever got to where you want to go to, because they're not going to help you, they're going to hinder you and confuse you. You need somebody that can confidently say, I can get you to destination B in the quickest amount possible and the best way possible with the less stress. Now think about each time you do 20 miles and you've reached a goal, 20 miles and reached a goal, 20 miles and reached a goal. You're going to stop feeling overwhelmed. You're going to stop feeling about destination B, and all you're going to think about is reaching your next 20 miles, then your next 20 miles. At this point then, when you're at the 40, 60 mile point, you're never ever going to think about going home, because you're finding the journey is actually more enjoyable. You're going to get so much from each person that you reach after your 20-mile journey, that then you're going to start thinking, well, I'm actually really looking forward to my next 20-mile journey. Then you stop having the overwhelm. So in your business now, if you're thinking, am I ever going to get there? Am I ever going to make it? Am I ever going to be successful? The answer is, it's down to you. Think about the business opportunity that you are in or thinking of joining. Is it truly the right vehicle for you to be able to get to where you want to be? Does it really offer you everything that you need to succeed? Does it come with support? Does it come with training? And does it come with people that are fully qualified to give you that advice? So just wanted to just break this down into, like the vehicle terminology, because a lot of people that watch my videos are new into the industry or struggling or overwhelmed. And I try and keep everything super, super simple so that it's easy for people to understand. But just take these tips on board, and if you are very, very overwhelmed at the moment, and maybe you've even quit or you're thinking about quitting, don't think of your journey as 100 miles. Think about breaking it down into manageable steps and reward yourself each time you reach that goal. Because when you reward yourself, you feel good and it gives you that confidence boost. When you feel good and give yourself a confidence boost, no matter how small that goal is, you then start to have a shift in your mindset. And instead of you always thinking the worst and fearing everything and feeling like everything's just overwhelming, you start to think, wow, I actually achieved that goal and I feel great. I can actually do it. Then you start to tackle more things. And this is what's enabled me to go from someone that was completely isolated as an entrepreneur. My turning point was when I got to a point where I was so isolated, my panic attacks were terrible, my anxiety was terrible, my whole life was affected, my relationships were affected, my friendships, my family was affected, my work was affected, my whole entire life was affected. But if I hadn't have chosen to keep moving, I would still be that same person. So I just want to share this, not as a sob story, but as some inspiration to you that you've got to just keep moving forward and don't focus too much on something that's too far away in advance, because you're going to then give yourself that overwhelming feeling. Think of what goal you can achieve daily that's going to get you to where you want to get to. But if you break it down on what can I achieve today that's going to make tomorrow easier? What can I achieve tomorrow that's going to then make it easier to get to the next level? Think about your journey as being almost like 100 steps. Each step you take is progression, and people are there to help you as you progress up the steps. But don't think about it as just reaching the top. think about every single step you take is still progression going forward. You might sometimes take a few steps back to elevate yourself further forward, but there's nothing wrong with that. However long it takes you to succeed is irrelevant. You could be a turtle, you could be a hare, but you're still going to make it. But only if you continue to keep that momentum moving forward. So just pass this information even on to people in your team, because there's a lot of people that get overwhelmed, and because of that, they quit or they get stuck in a rut and they stop progressing forward. Break it down into manageable steps for people to understand, and I promise you, you'll get a far, far better success rate of people staying in your team, and you'll get much more success stories because people are actually able to get to where they want to be. So thanks everyone for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'm going to go back in and follow up with the comments now as soon as it's onto my profile. Take care. Bye.